Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons is a 2013 puzzle-based adventure game by Swedish film director Joseph Fares and Starbreeze Studios. The emotional and pastoral feeling Brothers feels like a bit of a change from the usual Starbreeze games that have included Payday, The Darkness, Syndicate, and the Chronicles of Riddick games Assault on Dark Athena and Escape from Butcher Bay. Brothers starts in a very Disney-esque fashion, that is to say, with a dead mother. We learn in the intro that the younger of the two brothers has watched helplessly as his mother drowned after seemingly falling from a boat during a storm. We also quickly figure out that the father has fallen gravely ill and that it is the sons who must apparently save him. The gameplay mechanics call for the cooperative movement of the brothers, but the game itself is solely one player. You control the younger brother with the right trigger and the right analog stick, and the elder brother with the left trigger and the left analog stick. I have to admit that an hour into the game I was still getting a bit confused, but was actually starting to get the hang of it after a while. It's also important to note that the game forces you to control the brothers almost simultaneously, as the two brothers must remain on the same screen or they stop and call out to one another. The game itself is based on a series of puzzles that must be solved in order to remove the obstacles that exist between the brothers and where they must travel in order to find a cure for their deathly ill father. These obstacles include not only the usual physical barriers, but some emotional and psychological ones as well, including the fact that the younger brother seems to have suffered some post-traumatic stress after the death of his mother and cannot swim across rivers where necessary to continue their journey. And while, as I said earlier, the game is quite pastoral, be prepared for a bit of fantasy and magic along the way. One of the things that you will notice from the beginning of your journey is that the brothers, and everyone else around them, speak the language of their land. And while it is absolutely musical, it also adds a level of depth to the puzzle-based game in that not only do you have to figure out the usual puzzles in the game, but you have to figure out what you have to do in order to solve some of the puzzles by solely reading the gestures and vocal inflections of the people and beings that you come into contact with. I have to admit that it was a bit surprising, and I almost said disconcerting there at the beginning, but it quickly kind of becomes just another facet of the gameplay. As a longtime lover of adventure games, there are a lot of usual suspects present in terms of mechanics in this game. You can choose which brother to use in certain circumstances because of physical attributes and which order things need to be done in. There are moments when certain things are not exactly intuitive, especially when you consider how we've used the Xbox controller in other games over the years. So there were one or two moments in the first hour that served as kind of sticking points for me. So maybe more than one or two moments, but definitely a little frustrating. But in defense of the game, kind of a quick perusal of the internet did not indicate that others had been stuck in the same places for long periods of time. So it actually might have been me. And I actually did figure them out in the end, so they must not have been too bad. All in all, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons is a solid adventure game. Even if it is kind of a repetitive stress injury waiting to happen. An hour in, the only female characters that I have seen has been a couple of villagers who point us on our way, and of course the dead mother who causes all kinds of problems. So it doesn't pass the Bechtel test. Bechtel failure aside, this game looks like it will be the best of the summer of arcade games for me. And this, as we said, or should have said, is the first of the four Xbox Live Summer of Arcade games that Microsoft has to offer. Definitely one to check out at 1,200 Microsoft Space Dollars, if you're still counting those, or $15. It's definitely worth the price of admission for the gameplay, the visuals, and the audio alone. So take a couple of minutes, check out the last of this cutscene, and race on over to your Xbox and pick up a copy of Brothers. If you don't have an Xbox, this game will be coming out on PS3 and Steam next month. So if you don't have an Xbox, wait until next month. Definitely a game to grab.
ما في إيسا دا.
إيه دا؟
لا ما في بعدي نا.